Hey, what's going on, everybody, for the 100 Line interview series? My name is Nuke, and today we're joined by Akie Kotabe. They're the voice of Yugamu Omokage in the 100 Line Last Defense Academy, and they've also voiced Kion from Go Jetters, as well as numerous television and movie appearances. Akie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Nuke.
So, while I try to make this show like Hot Ones, as you might have seen, and while I don't have any wings, if I did, I think Yugamu would probably come up with some concoction to numb the spiciness, wouldn't you say?
Whoa, I didn't get the reference, but sure, yeah.
You never watched Hot Ones?
No, I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's all good.
But when you said spicy, immediately I like spicy, so I was like, oh, I would have ramped the spicy up, but I guess maybe Yugamu he would probably try to think of some sort of art form assassination-y thing to do with it. What could he do with spice and inner organs or something like that?
So why don't we just jump right into it? How fun
Sure.
was it voicing Yugamu, and what can you tell me about the experience of voicing or working for a AAA title like 100 Line?
It was a blast. I didn't know it was a AAA title. I was gonna say I found it to be very zany in tone, and I had never got to voice someone with such a odd sense of humor, so I was very much for it to try to find a rationale to be like this person. And I do know some of my anime and stuff, so I was like, yeah, I get kind of the vibe. This will be fun to be part of.
Absolutely. Were you a fan of Kodaka and Uchikoshi's work before you took on the role?
Nope, I knew nothing. And then after I did the role, I looked up and saw, I don't know how to say it, Danganronpa, and I have yet to play them, but I am a fan of their, I think it's the biggest story I've ever seen in a game, ever. And I play quite a few games myself.
I did see that. I saw you were a PS5 gamer. What are you playing right now?
Right now I'm playing 100 Line on my Alienware, my PC actually, but on my PlayStation 5 I'm kind of biding time playing Yakuza. What is it? Not Yakuza, the one that's called Infinite Wealth. I think it's called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, the one set in Hawaii. But honestly, I was waiting till Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, and now Death Stranding 2 is out, and I'm like, oh no, there's all these games I have to play before GTA comes out next year. But 100 Line was the thing that slowed it down. I just didn't expect it to have so much, and for me to be so into it. I'm a completionist a bit, and I'm like, but this is gonna take a long time. Though you said you did it.
What route are you on right now?
Killing game, I believe is what I saw on the internet. I don't even know the route names, but that I did find somewhere when I was trying to find what's the best way. I was curious, what's the best ending? And I found some article that I have saved that says there's one way you can do it in the first take, and then there's something called a steady fundamental route. And I'm kind of using that as a way to do, but the steady fundamental says something about story locks. So then I just went off on my own, and the first thing I found myself in, I was like, I think this is the killing game. And I've done probably 5 or so of the endings. I've got to the end at least 5 times.
Any good endings, or have they all been bad?
They're quite funny. It's fun to because I followed that one route the first time, I thought that was a nice enough ending, but I also thought it was quite funny when all the zombies get to go to the moon. I was like, oh, that's a nice dark funny one. Others can be maybe a bit more oh, whoops, this is a kind of like one of those old books, where it's take the red door, blue door, and you take the red door, and it's a pile of pits, you die, game over, duh, kind of ending. And I was like, oh, well, let me go reload and see if the other one goes further.
That's the beauty of the game. There's literally 100 endings, so if you get a bad one, you can just try again. It's so easy.
I like how how in depth they are, or most of them are. They make sense in different ways. And I remember voicing this part without knowing it was the killing game route, going, what? Everyone becomes zombies? What's happening? And yeah, so it's fun to see it now.
Can you describe a day of recording?
Yeah, we went to OMUK, which is in London, in King's Cross in North London, and you go into a sound booth the OMUK has a very cool like kind of hangout zone where he has all the titles he's done and some swords and game memorabilia and cool stuff there as and then you go into a sound booth which is set up for acoustics and dampening, and usually you're in the room by yourself, and just across the window there's like a window there, and I can see the sound engineer who can change and Thomas the director, and talk to him this way or just listen to them in my ears as they explain what is happening and then why I'm saying this line, which I see on a computer screen in front of me, like whatever it may say. Yeah, like, ooh, I wonder what they're like on the inside, or something like that. I'm like, what, Tom, so what is that about? He's like, this is the one where because Darumi's done this and this has happened to this is why you're saying. I'm like, okay. And then I might do a couple takes, and then they usually mark their favorite and second favorite, and we move on, and that's how it goes.
I heard you guys and Tom recorded something like 300 hours of game lines, so it's a really incredible project.
Yeah, that must be, I did not do 300 myself, but it was quite a few days. I don't remember how many. But yeah, hats off to him. It's a lot of storylines he had to keep track of. It wasn't just him, there was someone else who had helped translate it. I'm drawing a blank on the names, but they were immensely helpful too.
Perfect. This question comes from Ice Prism on Twitter, and they wanted to know what your first impression of the character was and how did you go about the audition?
Ice Prism from Twitter, or X. Hello, Ice Prism. I like the name. I literally, I think it was the reason I probably remember there's something about the assassination is like an art form, man. And initially I thought it was, I didn't know anything about the game, so I just kind of assumed, sounds like a weird assassin dude. And I was thinking of games like Far Cry or something. So I think I was just like, yeah, man, just like a surfer dude, like assassination's like an art form, man. And I forget if they gave me a note. So the initial audition, it came in an email, and I had to record from my setup here at home, the same mic I'm reading on now, but I just make a bit of a space. And then I actually can't remember, because I do quite a few of the auditions. I don't know if I had a second one, but then eventually I just found I had it. And then once I learned more, then I could get my brain around what I was doing, if that makes sense.
Of course. So
at first it was just like a shot in the dark, just like, okay, from what I know about games, this dude sounds a bit crazy with assassination-y stuff. I'm thinking Far Cry. I'm thinking modern surfery, cooked out dude, maybe ate too many mushrooms or something. Let's do that. And then, oh, it's not that. Oh no, it's a game where there's students stuck in a building and it's an anime stuff. Oh, okay. A JRPG or Japanese themed. Okay, let me try this. That's kind of how it went.
So I know you're from Lansing, Michigan, but went to the University of Texas, and I gotta know.
Oh,
are you more of a
internet, huh?
Are you more of a Michigan State Spartans fan to the core, or more of a Longhorn kind of guy?
Longhorn. Michigan, I left when I was 6, so my memories of it largely are learning how to ride a bike. My dad watched football, so I remember something about Michigan State and a guy named Lorenzo White, and once watching a game where he did like a running front flip to get a touchdown. This must have been like 1985 if I have any memories. I would have been 5 at that time. But Texas is where from like the age of 10 I graduated from UT Austin. I lived there, so yeah, I mean, I went to UT. I remember the rivalry with A&M, and so I'm definitely a hook 'em horns dude.
Really good, really good. I've been wanting to go deeper into my guest acting history as well, and so I'm curious as to which was the more interesting project for you. I have a list here, okay?
Okay.
So, working with 6-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen in Midgets vs. Mascots, coming face-to-face with David Caruso in CSI Miami, or getting assassinated by Sebastian Stan in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I would say I knew Scottie Pippen the most at the time I filmed Midgets vs. Mascots, which used to be called Tribute to Big Red before it changed. But that was in, I think, 2007 or 8. And because I knew him so well, just to see this huge, tall basketball player come in because I think the producers somehow knew him and they got him in as a kind of cameo into the movie. That was very like cool. That same movie actually had Jason Mewes from Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob, and as well as lots of people. But I found that to be a very surreal experience. Like, whoa, it's all these people I kind of know from basketball TV and all that. David Caruso, I knew of the show, but I didn't really know him. So it was kind of cool to watch how he worked about filming that show, CSI Miami. And then Sebastian Stan, I think my friend who's much more into the comics was explaining to me, he was like, dude, it's the Winter Soldier. Like, and he was like, and I was like, I know, but we were actually I worked on that during the initial stages of the pandemic. So it was more, everyone was concerned with like being holed up in hotel rooms and taking PCR tests. And so that one was more like, just get the job done. Don't shake hands. Don't talk too close to someone. It's kind of the feel as I did it.
But fun memories of all three?
Yeah. They're all, really cool experiences. I always wanted to get to be parts in TV and film, and I didn't know I'd be doing video game voices, but I always played them, and so to get to do them is very, fun.
Can you explain in layman's terms how your experience in television translates into video games?
I guess knowing in TV there's lots of takes, lots of angles, lots of repetition. Video games maybe not as many, but you still it's all about getting the ideal voice clip. So it's more maybe my process of self-recording when I used to play music. Like, you want to get the right guitar riff, or you want to sing that part of the song right. You watch like any Metallica documentary, you watch how they make their album, you realize, oh wow, they break it down. Like, this is the good part. And so I found video game stuff reminds me of that. It's like voice director helping me. I tried different ways to say a line. Like you could say like, I don't know, like, whoa, it's so hot today, or ooh, it's so hot today, or it's so hot today. And then, finally they pick what they pick, and we're basically trusting the game people are happy. Usually clients are on the line, video game directors helping make the right takes. And with that trust, I guess my job's to kind of try to come up with some options, and hopefully they're good ones.
Yeah, and speaking of, taking multiple times to get a line just right, I spoke to voice director Tom Mitchells a few days ago.
Yeah?
And he told me he used many references to help the actors nail their respective characters. And so I'm curious as to what specifically he showed you or told you to help you nail Yugamu's personality or character.
See, as you probably realized from the beginning of this show, sometimes I don't know the references, so I'm struggling to remember if there were times he had some references and I know it, and other times maybe I didn't. But I can't think of a specific. I think somehow we were talking about something to do with anime, and I know Studio Ghibli anime very well, so I probably said that. And if so, he might have said, imagine it was like, I'm just making stuff up here, but it might have been like, like something from Spirited Away or something. And then I was like, okay, yeah, got it. But I can't think of a specific. Sorry, Tom. but he's good at finding what comes across, what can come across right, if that makes sense.
Of course. Were there any particular lines or scenes that were especially fun or challenging to record?
The zombie, when it first came out, because we came out with different zombie versions, so I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know I was doing a zombie thing, but okay, so there's a zombie thing. So Yugamu voice, but zombie? Do we want it like this or do we want it like that? So it's quite fun. And then in the end, we needed to make sounds as if we were to, I don't know, potentially die or how we're walking. So it's quite fun to do all those options. Though as I played it, I was kind of listening and going, I don't know if they're in there or not, like the options we did. I can't tell.
Do you know the percentage of routes in which Yugamu makes it to the end?
No, I have no idea.
Do you want to take a guess and I can give you the actual number?
Oh yeah, because I did manage to kill. I think as I was playing, I started getting so brain numb. I started to lose track. I just remember they always make graves, from all the. But I'm guessing 70% he makes it through.
70% might be
Yeah.
overselling it a little bit. Let's here. I'll find out the actual answer in a second. Here.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Um, because I don't remember dying so many times, but I guess maybe it could have been a text description death. I mean, it was in the. I remember there was one in the Killing Green where those people, the masks pop up, and there's a route I did something where from a second floor window. I forget why, but you managed to kill him, and I was like, "What? It's me." I don't remember. Really? Just oh, I was the. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Still trying to figure out who that guy is usually in all the other. Well, yeah.
You'll see. You'll see once you finish it. So the actual number, 54%.
54. Okay. Little over half. That makes sense that because I haven't done any like when you see that little tree path, I guess I've been doing the killing game route largely seems to be from if you kill Ato at the very beginning.
Yep.
So the whole I know there's this whole other half. I'm like I've only done one choice through that whole other way, which I was like, hey boy, there's must be a lot of different ways it can go.
Wow, you worked with Nazar and then you kill his character? How could you do that? So, did you notice anything different about the way the script is written compared to other games you've worked on?
Yeah, there's a lot more lines sometimes, I'd say. It was a very like descriptive script, which was quite cool. It's better than, I've done some games where it's like a war game and literally all you have to say is like grenade, move forward, tank approaching, take cover. Yeah, usually in much louder tones than that. So this was much more like, oh right, I remember I really like I didn't know it was for the bonding sequence, but there was a time where I got to do, I was like, oh, this is like a whole life history of Yugamu. This is quite fun. It's like a little monologue about me. Made me learn a lot about him, if that makes sense. So yeah, what it was is there was just so much more text.
So Yugamu's character is a little bit more different than Kian from Go Jetters, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, Cayenne from Go Jetters. Well, it could probably have been either way. Cayenne from Go Jetters is that's for like a 4 to 6 year old children audience, and it's about them going to cool places in the world. He's fun in his own way, just being part of like the Go Jetter team. But yes, Yugamu is a very different. His focus is on something very different. I think Cayenne is very much more about pizza and good times, and Yugamu is about like, I don't know, surgical operations and good times, I guess you'd say.
Absolutely. Yugamu sees torture as an extension of love, not cruelty. And so,
Yeah.
for you as an actor, what subtle vocal choices help convey that sincerity without pushing his character into a caricature?
Ooh, I'm not someone that, how would I say? I don't really know what my voice does so much. I think I just more put my head in the space of him. And I tried to think of, like, in an overarching sense, I thought he seems like he could be looking for, he has a romantic ideal in finding ideally someone probably at that school where you can die and come back again who would love to just what is it called, like basically do live autopsies on each other. But I feel like in terms of tone it was more thinking of when you have a excitement because something could be tasty or something you could look forward to, like how I would think of, oh yeah, like something in my life that I could really look forward to. Like, I don't know, this time I'm going to go to this Michelin star restaurant and it's going to be really cool. Or, oh man, I can't wait till I go see F1 on the IMAX and see how that sounds. And then just think of that and try to throw that into, ooh, I can't wait till I see the insides of her intestines kind of line, if that makes sense. Kind of a substitution thing. But I don't know specifically what the heck my voice does when I do that. Just think of those feelings.
Got you, got you. This next question comes from Ataku Purgatory on Twitter, and they wanted to know what your favorite interactions are between the characters.
Eitaku Purgatory. I think I have some fun back and forth, it seems, with Takumi. And I also think there's sometimes, I mean, I only get to usually see my lines and then what's preceding, just suddenly see a little bit of context. I seem to find in some of the battles, it felt like people could be chitter chattering and I'd be the one just saying a quick thing like, all right, that's good and all, but there's a commander we still have to deal with. So let's get on with it kind of thing. So I found, I don't know, I don't have like a specific line, but I found I liked that I was a bit of an outsider, a bit of an oddball outsider was quite fun. And then the fact that he somewhat seems to have a thing in a sense, and you can't really tell what it is for Takumi at some points, was quite funny to play around with, that kind of ambiguity of attraction or not. And I know Jay, and I didn't know he was doing it at the time, but it's funny now because I'm like, oh yes, Jay, that's funny.
And speaking of ships, I have this recurring segment where I ask our guests what their thought on various 100-line ships are. And so I was curious if we could do the same thing for you. We'll do like a
ships.
Like pairings, I mean, pairings. So like, we'll do like a ship or skip is what I call it on here. How does that sound?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'll list the two characters and you tell me what your thoughts on it are and if you think they'd be good, etc., etc. How does that sound?
Ship or skip, huh? Okay.
All right. It's very fandom based here. So Takumi and Hiruko.
Ship. But maybe I'm too. Yeah, I think they would work in a she's the boss kind of way,
Absolutely.
and he's just following.
You mentioned this just before this, Yugamu and Takumi.
I think it'd be really awkward and weird. But I think it's for everyone's sanity, it should be a skip, but there's some random route, which maybe I haven't seen yet, where something happens, and if so, I think that would also be one where, like Hiroko in some way, but with I think Yugamu would be constantly trying to go for something perversely medical, and Takumi would be probably calming him down.
And you mentioned you were on the killing game route right now, and so this last one is the killing game polycule, which that includes Darumi, Yugamu, Tsubasa, and Takumi. They're all like
as one big group.
Yes.
You mean
they were all roommates at the end, so yeah.
Yeah, they all sit at the sofa and watch, or they hope to have that escape.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting household, because I feel Darumi's the other kind of extreme person I think of. And if anything, though somehow they don't seem to ever really talk that much together, her and Yugamu have the most maybe in common. So in that house, I feel like there would be a crazy half, which would be them two doing whatever they're doing to that half of the flat or apartment or whatever you want to call it. And then, Tsubasa and Takumi, they seem like they could be a thing, and it seemed like it sometimes do become a thing. I could see that.
Perfect. So this next question comes from Detective Neeks, and they simply wanted to know if you prefer crunchy or smooth peanut butter, and also which one Yugamu prefers.
I prefer crunchy, because it's just closer to what it actually is, just crushed up peanuts. I bet Yugamu would prefer smooth for something to do with how he could use it in a way where not just for eating it, but in some way. That's just my guess.
Only the best questions on this show, ladies and gentlemen. And so, with 100 lines, 100 endings, was there a route or ending for you that stood out in terms of its emotional gut punches?
Well, I haven't seen all 100, but some were more emotional than others. I like the through line of, I haven't found the resolution of what happens with Nozomi and Takumi. Nozomi or Karua, and what's exactly going on there. But I find I found beating it the first time when he then gets to go back in time because he really wants to save her. I found that quite touching. And then that starts all the different ways. So that's one. I find it quite, yeah, and I forgot in that first way I did it to find out that the humans are the invaders was quite like surreal. Like, oh wow, that kind of throws a, so we're the bad guy. We're playing the bad guys. Um, what do you do now? So yeah, I guess I found those, I don't know if it's touching or morally like, what do we do? So yeah, there's some very good thought-provoking moments.
And so, in the game, we learn Yugamu was raised in a family of assassins and experimented on as a child. So, do you consider him a product of nurture, nature, or fate?
Probably mostly nurture, or family of assassins. Obviously, his not wanting to just simply assassinate, but finding that it could have love behind it, I feel like, or compassion behind it. That could be just that's the kind of redeeming factor that could be naturally in Yugamu, maybe from the go. Because I just remember there is one way where you're right, he dies at the very end and he hopes to come back as like, I forget if it was like a flower or something very simple. So he doesn't have to do any of this stuff, which I thought was quite funny. I was like, oh, was it a fish, a flower? I can't remember. But so I think both, definitely family of assassins would be a big factor in why he'd have his way he is, but then nature to making him a little different from his family.
And so, looking at today's media, like Squid Game or what's that one, Alice in Borderland, considering like contemporary media, what might he be a fan of? What do you think?
I think he'd quite well. Squid Game is like just cutting down the numbers. I'm actually watching season 2 or 3. It feels like 2 part 2, season 3 right now. I think he wouldn't love that. There's not senseless, but just the culling of numbers part to it. Like there's no, I shouldn't say no, but there's like mass deaths with one type of kill in that show. And what is it called? Alice in Borderland, is that right? I've watched that too. That I feel like he'd quite like, because you can form teams or not, but you could be as creative as you wish with how you could kill someone. So I bet you he'd be all about like, well, we can really set up my perfect setup for how we would kill someone here in that weird version of Tokyo. But I bet he'd watch both, like in his own way. If he's not busy in the bio lab, maybe he's more maybe he'd be more studying his poisons.
Got you. So this is the last question.
Okay.
I have this grand plan to interview all of the 100-line voice actors.
Yeah.
And it hit me that I could practically ask any question out there. And it got me thinking about something that the Team Fortress 2 community did at one point, which was to have all of the voice actors say their character name and then the word gaming. So I was hoping that we could get a couple renditions of Yugamu Gaming as something for the fans.
Just me saying Yugamu Gaming?
Yep, and his voice, yep.
Okay. Yugamu Gaming. Yugamu Gaming. Yugamu Gaming.
Ladies and gentlemen, Akie Kotabe, and if this was Hot Ones, Sean Evans would say, well, you don't know Hot Ones, fortunately.
It's all right.
But just imagine there's a guy, he has 3 cameras, and he goes, this camera, this camera, this camera. Let the people know what you have going on in your life. What can you tell us legally, not NDAs? Where can they find you? And are you going to any cons upcoming at all?
Oh, I've never been to a con in my life. Maybe one day I will. I'm looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed Shadows once I finish the 100 line and either finish Yakuza or get, because I got to do one of the allies in that. I'm one of the people that can be an ally, and so I'd like to play the game and see how that is. Trying to remember his name. Yagoro, I think his name is. And I'm currently, even this evening, I'm doing a play at the Almeida in London with Michael Shannon and Ruth Wilson and David Threlfall and Peter Corboy. So that's what I'll be doing till August. And I guess what else can I actually talk about? I think I can say I'm very happy to be part of the Apple TV series Silo, so keep on watching. That's probably it.